Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League showcasing another very powerful team featuring Stunfisk. Stunfisk on team number 4 from my top 5 best teams. It will be in the back, even though I did recommend leading with it. We'll go over why as we get into the video, but it's in the back along with Serperior. As I highlighted in yesterday's best teams video, this is team 4, Serperior. Will generally be the safe swap if absolutely necessary, but this is a relatively balanced team, very flexible. And rounding out the team, Mantine on the lead. I was just finding Mantine on the lead was picking up amazing leads, but this team's so flexible, so balanced, you can run it in any order, really. This team was absolutely putting in the work, and if you don't have a Mantine, you could definitely give Pelipper a try. But here we go, Swampert lead. This is about as good as it gets for a Mantine lead, and they safe swap a Venusaur, so they are absolutely core broken by a lead such as Mantine. You love to see it. Gonna stay right here. The reason why is because we have a Serperior for that Swampert. So the Mud Boys really don't have very many places to go when you lead when you lead Mantine, you're ABA strong into those Mud Boys that people are running to counter Talonflame, as well as the counters to Talonflame. So that's working in our favor. We grab the final shield. They're fighting really hard. We're not going to give it to them. We're going to let this go, though. We do survive that. Oh my gosh, that's neutral, guys, and it hits like an absolute truck. Absolutely insane, but we say bye-bye to the Venusaur nonetheless. Holding on to control of alignment. They could have a Skarmory in the back. That's generally what you see, but no. Their steel type of choice is a Registeel, and the worst thing that we could possibly do in this moment is pivot out of this and give up that precious alignment we have. So we kind of have to just let this Regi farm us down, which it does. We don't get new mechanics and we don't get off our move, but it doesn't matter. They're debuffed. We had the G-Fisk for the Regi, up a shield, up a steel. They're up a steel, but not for long. We're up a shield here. Yeah, I really don't know why they're still here. They no longer have a win con, but they are sticking it out to the very end, and that is okay. We're just going to farm this thing all the way down. They recognize, yeah, it's not happening. They exit stage left. That's going to be a good game. Yeah, Team 4 was amazing yesterday. I actually ran this team last season, and it happened to make it on my top 5 best teams for this one. And here we go. For reasons like this, holy smokes, we've got a Poliwrath running Bubble, the newly buffed Bubble. I'm not sure you'd want to go with the newly buffed Bubble over counter, but here we are nonetheless. Either way, both are resisted by Mantine, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, Poliwrath does now have access to Icy Wind, but we let that go. Does very little damage. Does hit us for neutral as well, but we're going to hit this thing for super effective, and they let that go after giving up a shield. I'm not sure why they're in this matchup. They're just, it looks like they're fine with soft losing lead. Perhaps they're weak in the back to a Mantine or something similar to Mantine, but no, they've got a Basti, so again, much like in that previous matchup, we kind of have to just stay right here, allow the Basti to farm down, and realign our G-Fisk onto the Basti. We are still up a shield here. Gonna go for another Bubble Beam. We are rolling Bubble Beam. I prefer that with my playstyle. Allows me to control the pacing in certain circumstances. But generally, you'll want to be running Ice Beam. I recommend generally running Ice Beam for the most consistent results, but I prefer Bubble Beam for my particular playstyle. But here we are, they're throwing Stone Edges on our G-Fisk. Holy smokes. This is where G-Fisk comes in so clutch, guys. We're saying bye-bye to the Basti. I don't know what they're doing. They've got a Talonflame in the back. Maybe they were thinking they can farm us down, but they're down a shield, and even if shields were even, G-Fisk puts in the work up against Talonflame, which is why it should not be slept on. It should not be slept on by no means this season. We get to another Rock Slide, and yeah, we're saying bye-bye to the Flaming Bird of Terror. 2 shield flexing, Stunfisk closing in dominant fashion. You'll love to see it. Good game. Yeah, guys, I don't know what to tell you. If you're still sleeping on G-Fisk in Season 17, you might want to rethink that. But here we go. Azumarill lead. This is okay for us. We win the 2s, the 1s. We do not win the 0s. Of course, whenever you see an Azumarill, you've got to be thinking that classic double ghost line with Sableye and Trevenant in the back. So that's what I'm thinking in the moment. I'm going to let this first move go. We do survive whatever it is, and it is the Play Rough. And they're still here, so generally when they land that first move, if it is double ghost, that's an ABB line, so they would swap out, but they're not. So that leads me to believe that perhaps it's not double ghost in the back, and what prompted me to actually shield this, I don't know. I'm very unsure, and whenever that is the case, guys, I think your best bet is to go for that alignment. If you know you win and you're unsure on the team read, you take that alignment where you can, just to have better control of the flow of the match and keep things stacked in your favor. We're going for another Aerial Ace, and they do let that go after playing out the 1s. That's not double ghost, so I'm glad I made the play to control switch here. It's a Venusaur, and we're going for another Aerial Ace on the Venusaur here. Grabbing that final shield, and they're going to throw energy here. Not wanting to get hit by a super effective Aerial Ace, and we're going to just let that go and look to come in with our Serperior here. So, yeah, Azu, Venusaur, maybe double grass? I don't know. I really don't know what that third could be. But I do know that we have a lot of bulk remaining, and I'm okay shielding a Sludge Bomb there. And we're going to go for an Aerial Ace, of course, on this Venusaur. It will not KO, but it will be getting it within a resisted farm down range. Double resisted farm down range. And they're going to throw a move here on their way out, and that is okay. They go for the Frenzy, and they bring in a Talonflame. So going for the Frenzy there, they likely wanted to get some farm. They wanted to get a little greedy, which I don't blame them. You kind of have to with a 5-turn fast move on Talonflame, but we had just the answer to it lurking in the back here. We will survive a Flame Charge, but with the buff to the damage that Incinerate does, we go down to a boosted Incinerate. That's not how it would have played out in previous seasons. We would have made it to that rock slide, but good thing we had the Aerial Ace. We take out the Talonflame, and Serperior is left standing. In the end, you absolutely love to see it. That's going to be another good game. Team number 4 from my top 5 best teams for the Great League was absolutely amazing. We had a Talonflame, they safe swap at Toxapex. And we had an amazing answer coming in the form of our G-Fisk. You love to see it, guys. I'm telling you, G-Fisk is back. Has a lot of play in the current meta. Puts in the work. They hit us with a Brine. Super effective, although you'd be hard-pressed to know that it did such little damage. And now we will go for the Earthquake. This will not KO, which is not necessarily a bad thing because we're triple resisting this fast move pressure, and we can absolutely load up on energy. They can throw another Brine all they want. That's not going to do much to us, and that's not going to deter us from absolutely maxing out on energy here. And now we just go for the Rock Slide, and we leave this matchup relatively healthy with energy to threaten the Talonflame if they so choose to bring it back in. They do choose to bring it back in. Going to throw 2, and then the move. That is proper timing. If you have a 2-turn up against a 5-turn, you'll want to be throwing on 2 or 7. And they let that go. Very interesting to see, and they've got a Ferrothorn in the back. So we're actually just going to stay in here and go for the neutral Earthquake and then just align the Serperior onto this Ferrothorn. Not very many places for Serperior to go. Might as well throw it in there to chip away as much as possible. And they go for a resisted Power Whip there. Very interesting. They may be running Thunder. So, yeah, that was another reason why we went in with Serp. Generally, we both hardwall each other's movesets, and we're just throwing resisted damage back and forth. So they're going to throw another... They'll go Flash Cannon. So they are running Flash Cannon. I guess they were trying to bait us with that Power Whip. There's no way we're shielding Serperior here. It's just in here to chip away at the Ferrothorn. That's its job. They pivot back into the Talonflame. They're trying their very best, but this is over. There is nothing they can do to win this matchup. We're going to just shield the Fly. That's going to hit us probably harder than the Power Whip would from the Ferrothorn. And we farm down, loading up on energy. They're resigned to going down with the ship, so I thought might as well bait. They're likely going to shield. They're putting up a heavy fight here, but no, they were going to let that go. Very interesting by them. At this point, I'm getting a little bit annoyed with them. So I just commit to BMing them all the way through here. We're going straight Bubble Beam. I said, okay, you want to stay in here and fight this? You're going down by resisted Bubble Beam. That's what's going to happen to you, my friend. So some BM action going on here, but I don't know why they're sticking around. They're wasting everybody's time. I said, all right, fine. They finally exit stage left there, and that is yet another good game. Yeah, guys, I think if you have all three of these Pokemon, I would highly suggest giving team number 4 a try. And here we go. Talonflame lead. This is fine. Bubble Beam is quite nice for this matchup because it not only can you hit it for super effective, doesn't hit for much, but it gets that debuff train flowing for them. It allows you to take a little bit of the sting off of that high damage output coming from a Talonflame. And they're absolutely loading up. Maybe not quite sure what to do here, but they do bank a ton of energy, low on health, into a Serperior here. So we're going to stay in here a little bit to chip away at the Serperior and look to try and catch on our Serperior, but they held on to the energy. But getting off that chip was quite nice for us because we only need to land one Aerial Ace here on this opposing Serperior. I'm going to let them throw both of these so that we leave this matchup as low as possible. I'm not expecting a shield from them, so we're going to overload by 1 and go for the Aerial Ace. This will absolutely KO the opposing Serperior here. And they do let it go, so very interesting. The Talonflame is a little low, but absolutely loaded on energy. It would be interesting to see if they come in with it. They do. So we let this go and look to come back in with our Mantine here. Of course, with our water typing, we resist that heavy fire type damage from the Incinerates. And they are boosted. That would a boosted fly would absolutely KO us here. So we do shield that. We're now down on shields and going to look to go for another Bubble Beam on the Talonflame here and see if they want to shield the low health Talon. They do not. And they've got a Quagsire lurking in the back. So whenever there's one Pokemon remaining and you have the ability to debuff them, I think it's always a good idea to do that because there's no way for them to swap out to clear the debuff. And we're actually going to shield what could be a Stone Edge here just to further debuff them because we're going to have our G-Fisk onto this Quag here. So we definitely want to lower that attack stat on the Quag just to give our G-Fisk the best opportunity to shine here. And we're going to add insult to injury and catch a resisted Rock Slide onto the G-Fisk. Oh, you love to see it. That did no damage, and they wasted a ton of energy there. They're still holding on to those shields for dear life, so I think we should just bait from here on out. Even if they let it go, it still does enough chip damage to slowly but surely whittle away at the Quag, but we got to start getting those shields down at some point. They have to start shielding something, and they do. So that bait worked out, and we're going to bait again to get the final shield off of them if at all possible. They're going to go for another Mud Bomb, but they are severely compromised on their attack stat. Going to bait again with another Rock Slide. Again, if they let it go, it is resisted, but it does chip, and that was quite a bit of chip. And we do have more energy remaining on our Mantine, so we're going to throw this Bubble Beam to grab that final shield. They should, they're at a Stone Edge here, but I think it's just too little, too late. But we have to be careful of the timer. Timer might be approaching here. It is, but we were just a couple of mud shots off from another resisted Rock Slide, and this will be getting the job done on the very stubborn Quagsire. Holy smokes. Came down to the clock, but we got it done in the end. Good game. Well played to them. Yeah, had a really good day with team number 4. It was putting in the work. And here we go, Vigoroth. The newly buffed Vigoroth with Rock Slide makes this matchup a little bit different for Mantine, of course. They can get to Rock Slides a lot sooner, and they actually hit us for super effective. Gonna actually shield here. Not quite sure from a team rating perspective what they could have lurking in the back. Gonna look to go for a Bubble Beam debuff because I do plan on letting the next Rock Slide go. they did bait us, or actually they just went straight body slam there, so probably not the best shield, as we could have survived that, but I wanted to get the debuff off first, and now this should definitely be a rock slide here. But because of the debuffs, we can let that go. We did hit him with an aerial ace, so that did, of course, more damage. And now we will just go Bubble Beam, which should allow us to get one more wing attack out of the deal. And it does, putting us that much further ahead, but it's not going to go anywhere as they have a Lantern running Charge Beam in the back. Holy smokes. That is definitely a choice. So again, we just stay in so that we can align the Serperior onto it. We are down a shield, probably an inadvisable shield there in the opening. That was maybe just with a little too much of abundance of caution, as they have a Quagsire in the back. Running Poison Sting, so better for us. We let the first Earthquake go. And perhaps we should have thrown the Frenzy onto this thing, because we would have gotten damage or a shield. We get the shield on our Earthquake, but now I'm getting a little nervous here. I think I got a little too comfortable in this matchup, my friends. I don't want to shield this because at this point, I'm thinking they should be running Sludge Bomb with Poison Sting. So I wanted to I guess at that point, I just had decided to put the hope and faith in the Serp to sweep this game for us. But yeah, I think I got a little too comfortable. I underestimated Quagsire a little bit in this matchup. They're not running Sludge Bomb, but this is getting a little too close for comfort here. We're loaded, but they throw the Lantern back in to force us to throw energy, and that is going to seal the deal. We're forced to shield a resisted Thunder because they're running Poison Sting, which does add up, hits us for super effective, but having to throw this Frenzy was what sealed the deal and got them this win here. So yeah, they played that very well despite running Charge Beam on Lantern. We lose, holy smokes, to the Charge Beam Lantern lead team. How embarrassing, my goodness, but very well played to them. Good game to them. Yeah, like I said, with Team 4 in my top 5 best teams video, you can lead with any one of these Pokemon. But Mantine was picking up the leads, had a Medi lead. They safe swap a Sableye, and we're going to meet this with our Serperior here. Could have met it with FISK as well, but I was making the team read that there could perhaps be either a Basti or a Carbink in the back, which is why we met this with Serperior. And I was thinking they'd like to make a play for Switch, being slightly ahead on energy, but no, they were happy to let a potential Frenzy Plant go. And they do survive, but I was thinking for sure they would want to give up some shields and make a play for Switch, but doesn't seem like they are. But we're going to overload. We can just go straight Aerial Ace from here on out, and they do just let that go. Very interesting. And they've got a Toxapex in the back, so they did not have the Basti or the Carbink that I was thinking, and it's still fine. Still glad that I brought the Serpent on the Sableye. Holy smokes. It works either way for FISK. They are up a shield still, but Mantine should handle this. Medicham, no problem. They can only go Ice Punch, although I know some people either are unaware or are just, I don't know what they were thinking if they are aware that Psychic has been nerfed, but I have seen some Psychic Medis. Yeah, they're just going Ice Punch here. I want to start grabbing shields. We are threatening the super effective Aerial Ace, but they are happy to no shield. So I don't know what they're doing. Very interesting play patterns by them, and it is absolutely fine. Holding on to those shields, perhaps for the next battle, I would presume. I don't know. But we're going to go for another Bubble Beam here. And yeah, there we go. Now we're grabbing shields. They wanted to bank some energy, and that's okay, as they aggressively pivot to clear those debuffs back into the Toxapex. They do not have alignment, and we're just going to go for the Earthquake here to remain healthy enough to threaten that Medicham. I'm not sure. Yeah, they do let that go. So they're putting a lot of hope and faith in the Medi. If they were going to put that much put that much on Medi. Perhaps they should have started shielded more in that Mantine matchup, but hey, it is what it is. That's their choice. We go for the Rock Slide, which would have just about KO'd the Medi, grabbing the final shield and gonna let this go, of course. We survived that, giving them one additional counter, but it's not going to help them. We just shield this and wing attack this thing down to Funky Town. And that will be all she wrote for the very stubborn Medicham trainer here. And they do go down to the wing attack, so it's going to be another good game. So yeah, guys, Team 4 absolutely gets my seal of approval for Season 17. Here we go, Skarmory lead. So this is one where we can't really swap out because you better believe they've got a steel answer in the back. So we kind of just have to stay in here and soft lose lead up against this Skarm. Perhaps Ice Beam would be better in this matchup, but Bubble Beam really does add up, especially if they choose to go for a Brave Bird and severely lower that defense. So we just let all this go, play out the zeros and soft lose lead, and look to align the G-Fisk onto the Skarmory here. Going for another Bubble Beam. We don't really want to go Aerial Ace. That's resisted. We're both dealing resisted fast move pressure to each other. And this could be the big Brave Bird, but they've been severely compromised, allowing us to get off yet another, I'm sure, very annoying Bubble Beam for them. And it will be doing more damage now that they've lowered that defense. And yeah, they're going to get a nice resisted farm down there, but I'm thinking we resisted farm them down with our G-Fisk, knowing that they've already thrown a Brave Bird, making this resisted farm down a lot easier. Oh my gosh, that Brave Bird did nothing. Normally, Brave Bird adds up on a G-Fisk, but that did such laughable damage, courtesy of the Mantine getting some debuff action in on it. And we're not even in the yellow. Generally, we're in the very low yellow if they hit us with two Brave Birds, and it can get a bit dicey, but they've got a Trevenant in the back. Very interesting. I thought for sure they'd have maybe a Medicham or some sort of harder check to a Steel type. So we just throw both of those Rock Slides, grabbing a shield in the process, getting a little chip damage as they did let one through, and now we will pivot into Serperior here. Serperior up a shield will do just fine up against a Trevenant. We shield out of caution. They bait us. That's okay. Going for another Aerial Ace here on the Trev. If they want to put up a fight, they will shield, and they do. But we will easily make it to another Aerial Ace here. With Vine Whip, we get to those so fast. And yeah, we're saying bye-bye to the Trevenant. And they've got a Lantern in the back. This is over. Yeah. They know it's not going to happen. Of course, Lantern is absolutely helpless against any grass type. And that is the team, my friends. Wow. Team 4. Team number 4 from my top 5 best teams. Absolutely amazing for Season 17. Puts in the work. I ran it last season because I recognized a very nice opportunity to run G-Fisk last season. That is just even more compounded with this season, with Skarmory and Talonflame getting buffed. G-Fisk has a lot of play, guys. A lot of people would run Steel types to counter, mostly Skarmory, but they run the Mud Boys for Talonflame, which is where Serperior comes in. So all the moving parts complement each other beautifully. Mantine and G-Fisk cover each other quite well, as G-Fisk does cover that very glaring electric weakness. So does Serperior, and Mantine covers the fighting type weakness for G-Fisk and the ice type weakness to an extent for Serperior, making for a recipe for a lot of success on a very strong team in the Great League. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.